Hi, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I know there's so much on our minds. There's so much that we're concerned about. It seems I begin almost every message in that way. This week was no different. We have a deep concern for the acts of anti-Semitism that have been plaguing our community and really infecting communities and hurting so many Jews. And so we are responding to that in many different ways. I want to tell you about something that is counter that narrative. And that has to do with what took place in France yesterday and what is being processed in France. You know, at the end of the 1800s, in the end of the 19th century, there was a captain in the French Legion by the name of Alfred Dreyfus, a Jew. And he was accused of treason for passing secrets to the Germans. The evidence that was used was very weak, and eventually it was seen that, in fact, it wasn't Dreyfus who did that, but there was another French officer that did that. Dreyfus spent time in jail and went to Devil's Isle, where he was exiled for quite a while until he returned. He returned and went back into the French army and was in the French army in the First World War. There was an author who wrote a book called J'accuse by the name of Emile Zola. J'accuse is about this Jew who was charged with treason unfairly. And the pamphlet that was written was also read by a journalist from Austria, a secular Jew by the name of Theodor Herzl. Theodor Herzl then wrote a pamphlet entitled The Jewish State, in which he encouraged Jewish people to grow the Zionist movement and to realize that Jews could only be safe if they're in their own nation. A Jewish state has been so important to Jews in modernity. We understand that. It gives us strength, power, and also a strength of pride, a sense of pride, but it hasn't truly made us all that much safer. Not when we look at the lives of Jews who live in liberal democracies where we've been fairly safe. No place are we absolutely safe. Anyway, this is the story that I want to tell. Just the other day and yesterday, the French government is moving to making Alfred Dreyfus posthumously a brigadier general in the French army. Obviously, it's late. He's not alive, but they're making a statement. They're making a statement that they messed up some 100 years ago. They're making a statement that says Jews are very important to us too. And during a time where we don't hear those kinds of stories, it's very important for us to hear that story. We realize that not everyone is against us. Not every nation is anti-Semitic, and that we have a role to play in teaching people about how to live with others. And the world has a responsibility also to us, to accept us as others. I wish you Shabbat Shalom. Tell your kids the story or your grandkids this story, because it is so important to understand the beginning of Zionism, the beginning of the birth of the State of Israel, and also where we are in the world today.